Newly appointed Ford President and CEO Jim Hackett, replacing Mark Fields with Ford Executive Chairman Bill Ford Jr. During a press conference at Ford World Headquarters in Dearborn, Michigan on May 22, 2017, photo, Daniel Mears / The Detroit News, by photo. Ford Motor Co-CEO Jim Hackett addressed recent allegations of sexual harassment at the automaker's Chicago plants in an open letter to employees. "I want to take this opportunity to say that I am sorry for any instance where a colleague was subjected to harassment or discriminatory conduct," Hackett wrote in the letter released Thursday. "On behalf of myself and the employees of Ford Motor Company, who condemn such behavior and regret any harassment as much as I do, I apologize. More importantly, I promise that we will learn from this and we will do better." The letter comes after the New York Times reported that women at Ford's Chicago assembly plant and Chicago stamping plant said their complaints about sexual harassment were met with hostility, and that management's efforts to correct the problem proved ineffective. "Candidly, it was gut-wrenching to read the accounts of these women in the New York Times article," Hackett wrote. "As an experienced CEO, I know there is no institution of merit that would support or condone an environment like the one described in this article. And there is absolutely no room for harassment at Ford Motor Company," he continued. "We don't want you here, and we will move you out for engaging in any behavior like this." Hackett's letter makes mention of the long history of harassment and discrimination at the Chicago plants, both of which were under investigation by the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission over the summer. Ford will pay a $10 million to settle the charges. In a statement released earlier this week, the Dearborn automaker condemned behavior at the plants, saying though its efforts to stamp out harassment began in earnest more than 2 years ago. In addition to ramping up anti-harassment training, Ford said it increased the human resources staff at the Chicago plants, including a staff member who oversees both plants and reports directly to the automaker's headquarters. A nearly 3-minute video denouncing harassment and discrimination and detailing the procedure for reporting such behavior, hosted by Ford Manufacturing Chief Bruce Heddle and Vice President of the UAW's Ford Department Jimmy Settles, is playing on a constant loop at all of Ford's U.S. manufacturing plants. The video began playing Tuesday, the day the New York Times report published. United Auto Workers President Dennis Williams also came down on sexual harassment this week, stating that the union has a zero-tolerance policy. "Working men and women have to understand that people ought to be able to go to the workplace without being harassed for any reason whatsoever," he said. Hackett promises in his letter that accusers can come forward without fear of retaliation. "No one is above the rules, no matter where they are in the hierarchy," he wrote. "This is absolute.